everyone. As you can see, I am on one of Africa's most beautiful beaches that stretches for more than 3,000 kilometers right up that way. And as you can notice, there is absolutely no one here. No tourists. Basically, a dream come true.
So this dream has become a nightmare for the 10 million people who live in this country. For the past 20 years now, there's been a civil war, a brutal civil war, terrorist attacks, and also regular famines.
Somalia is the epitome of a failed state. There is no central government. It is lawless and violent. For those who call this place home, life is about survival. And there is no one to ask for help. Islamic militias linked to Al-Qaeda control most of the land, and pirates have taken over the seas. The conflict has claimed 1 million lives, and even more have fled.
But this country seems to have been forgotten by everyone. And in order to work here, I need these bodyguards. Welcome to Somalia.
In Mogadishu, the infamous capital of Somalia, survival is a full-time job.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
Bashir is my lifeline. He owns the Peace Hotel, where the room rates include breakfast and a full detail of heavily armed bodyguards.
So it's important to drive fast here, no?
Sometimes it's very important because anything can happen. See, that's people wounded, you see?
I see. So this is from the fighting this morning?
Yeah.
So what it boils down to basically is that Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, is completely under siege. It's under siege from the Al-Shabaab, which are these Islamic rebels that say they are part of Al-Qaeda now. And so this is the reality of the situation here, is that there is troops absolutely everywhere and front lines absolutely everywhere in the city. Al-Shabaab now dominates most of the city. Their aim is to topple the transitional government and impose Sharia law. Since 2007, some 5,000 African Union troops have been deployed here, but they've had little success taking back territory or bringing order to the streets.
You see, you need it, bullets.
Yeah. So basically people use the Kalashnikov as a honk here?
They're using Kalashnikov as a honk.
As a honk here.
Sometimes they're using machine guns. Liban dadka gacanta waxba u taagana ma kale. Waxa gacanta taagi kara mala u sheeg bilish.
So basically what, this road is free, but everywhere on the side is front line?
Yeah, especially when you go left,
If you go, yeah.
if you go left, it's front line.
So basically what you're saying is that the government only holds a line of 6 kilometers
Yeah,
and then 3 kilometers inland from the beach, and that's it?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, over there is the front line, yeah?
Well, one of the many front lines. It's a building-to-building battle, urban warfare at its worst, where opposing forces are just meters apart. It is almost impossible to know who's winning, but the people who live here and work here are definitely losing. Last year alone, more than 2,000 civilians were killed in the fighting.
So here, Bashir, it's impossible for me to walk outside in the street, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
What could happen?
Some people, they believe when they see the one of foreign,
Yeah.
they believe, hey, look at these guys, they're $2 million walking, you know, usually like 1 million.
Yeah.
So that's
Like
so
1 million.
amazing, so amazing, you know.
Yeah.
When they are kidnapping the foreign people, they are getting $2 million, you know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
huge money.
Yeah, of course
You
it's
know?
huge money. So you have no NGOs, no journalists, no one comes
journalists,
anymore.
No
yeah.
one, no.
Almost no one comes here. Maybe against my better judgment, I asked Bashir to take me to see some of the real action. But my flak jacket seems to be too small.
Okay, so actually here I'm going toward the front lines in Mogadishu where there's heavy fighting, as you can hear. But basically what's interesting here is that there's a lot of fighters like these guys that are not part of the government. They're all part of various militias. And so the big boss of this militia is here. And he's basically has his own army and he fights for his own cause.
General Ade and his soldiers are actually part of an Islamic rebel militia that at one point was also battling for control of the city. But they switched sides, and now they're fighting for the government to bring down Al-Shabaab. Like everything in Somalia, it's complicated.
Well, you know, we've always known war. We've been forced to fight. If we had peace, we would have gone back and cultivated our land. But Al-Shabaab wants to cut our throats, so we prefer to die fighting.
The general says that with their connection to Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab is not just his problem anymore.
You were talking about the fact that people have to realize that Somalia is an international problem. Well, why is that?
Well, if the international community does not help us fast, Somalia is going to become a training ground for Al-Qaeda terrorists that will attack the US, England, and many other places. So it's important that the international community and the Somali government work together. To fight this plague, we must work hand in hand.
How long have you been fighting?
Well,
In your life, I mean.
I've been fighting since 1977.
You get tired from fighting after a while in Somalia?
We all want peace for Somalia. We just don't have a choice. Well, what you see here is not the real Mogadishu. It used to be a beautiful city, but now it's been destroyed. It breaks my heart.
How far is the front line from here exactly?
Well, the front line is over there, but it's very dangerous. And in my opinion, let's not go any further. It's not worth the risk.
Between my life and the interview, I'd rather do the interview.
The commander reluctantly agrees to take me to the front line. But the situation suddenly changes.
Okay, the fighting is pretty heavy now, so we have to leave, unfortunately. Okay.
Back in the car and out of the line of fire, for the moment. But in Mogadishu, the war is being waged everywhere, even on the airwaves.
The Deputy Prime Minister denounced the savage attacks that took place in the city of Mogadishu today. An explosion that caused deaths and injury took place this morning in the residential area of the Hamar Jajab district of Mogadishu city. After clashes in the city, the transitional federal government forces have captured bases from the Al-Shabaab militia.
So I'm here in the studios of Radio Mogadishu, which is the biggest radio in Somalia. The only problem here is that the journalists and the technicians have received a lot of death threats from the various militia groups here in the city. And so, in order to keep on broadcasting news and to keep on doing their job well, they have to sleep in the headquarters here of the radio, which has become, in effect, kind of a prison for journalists and staff members.
These walls and these soldiers deployed by the African Union are the only thing that keep Radio Mogadishu alive, the last bastion of free speech on the airwaves. Being a journalist here is very dangerous, In the last 5 years, over 20 reporters have been killed, many by religious extremists who target anything they deem pro-government or un-Islamic. Sigal Said is one of the women who reports the news, even when there's a price on her head. I mean, how difficult is it to be a journalist here in Mogadishu? I mean, like you, for example, how do you do your job?
It's difficult.
It's really difficult to be a journalist here. If I don't report the news the way the rebels want it, they threaten my life. And the government puts pressure on us too. It's very hard to report the truth. You have to be careful all the time.
You must be careful anytime.
So you're between a rock and a hard place, yeah?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. In between two things.
And if you need to do a report outside of the radio, what do you wear? Full hijab?
Yeah.
And people don't recognize you or what?
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah, I can't go out unless I'm covered from head to toe. When my face is covered, it's almost impossible to do my job. No one trusts me. No one wants to talk to me.
It's difficult to be a journalist, and it's even harder to be a woman journalist.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Mohammed Ibrahim is one of the managers of Radio Mogadishu. He's going to show me just how dangerous working here can be. This is the roof here? Huh?
Yeah.
Hello, hello. How are you?
You try to conceal yourself because there are some snipers which are normally shoots up.
Oh, snipers are here, yeah. So we have to keep the head down?
Yeah, you have to conceal yourself.
Okay, okay, I will. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, this new one. Let's go. Should we go there? Yeah. But we have to be careful, yeah. Okay, so because of the sniper activity, we have to really stay as low as possible. So who's firing at us here?
Yeah, it is Shabab.
Shabab, yeah.
We have now 2 shots up there. And it's coming from the western side.
So you mean that people fire at the radio all the time?
Sure, they fire at this antenna all the time.
So they try to cut the radio, yeah?
To cut the radio, they try to kill the journalists. In last May, they killed one of our reporters.
Reporting the news is not the only thing that has put the station in the line of fire. In 2010, the Islamic militias outlawed all music in the country. Radio Mogadishu defied the ban.
So they banned all the music from all radios. There are over 12 FM radios in Mogadishu.
There's 12 FM radios in Mogadishu, and none of them play music?
None of them except Radio Mogadishu. So that's why they are angry. And all the young people listen to Radio Mogadishu more than the other.
Yeah.
Now there was research made by the BBC which says Radio Mogadishu is the leading.
So it's close. What was that?
They're close, yeah.
I heard it over there, yeah. And so what was the research saying?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was fired from here, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it difficult to live like this every day?
Yeah, sure, but this new phenomenon of Islamism came. So we belong...
It came from outside, yeah?
Outside, so we need our way of life. We need the music, we need the normal life, so it is them who are attacking us, and I think it is them who will leave. That's why we are here. That's
but right now they seem pretty close.
Very close, less than 300 meters from us, but our moral is high and we always defend, and we have people supporting us.
Yeah. And so, well, we can't, unfortunately, you can't show us the city because we're a little stuck here in this bunker.
Sure. Now when they are hit, they always hit back.
Oh yeah, when they get hit, they immediately hit back.
Sure, so they will attack us. Yeah. So, it's coming?
Yeah, I think it's coming, yeah. Explosions and sniper fire have become the soundtrack for the city. But Mohammed and the Radio Mogadishu family are dedicated to making sure that the true sounds of Somalia won't be lost forever.
We have a very special thing in Radio Mogadishu, very unique in Africa.
Really, right here?
Let me show you.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Music is the core of Somali culture. And since written language was not formalized until 1972, songs are the country's history books. So this is your heritage as Somalis, no?
Yeah, this is what our grandfathers created and they left it for all the Somali-speaking people.
Yeah. So let's take me to the archives. Let's see.
All right.
Yeah, this way. All your equipment here.
This is where you have the song names.
I see everything is recorded here. Yeah.
This is one of the biggest archives in Africa. Over 500,000 songs, poets are here.
Or here, yeah.
Sure.
And all this is banned by Al-Shabaab.
It's banned. They don't allow us to play. That's why we are fighting against them. They tried to ban here when they came on power, but special forces protected it.
Love songs, poetry, and political speeches. This archive is one of the only places where Somali history has been preserved. So far. But extremists in Mogadishu are bent on perpetrating a cultural genocide. That's why UNESCO is now helping Radio Mogadishu digitize their recordings, which date back to 1947. And so, do you think that Shabab wants to destroy all this because it's a way to prove, to erase the past?
Sure, they want to erase, to delete our history, because this is our power. The real Somali power is our past and our poetry, our life behind, our fathers, great fathers who did all these things, who were very brave to create all these things. So they want to destroy all these things. They wanted to delete our past, to become naked to the world that we are nothing. We destroyed houses, military camps, even hospitals, but not for the literature, not for the songs, not what heritage from our great fathers. We will have this forever. We will keep it.
So it's still broad daylight outside, and it's quite amazing because it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but the curfew in Mogadishu starts at 4 o'clock, which is pretty crazy because in every other place I've been where there were war zones, well, the curfew is in the evening when the sun sets. And here at 4 o'clock, the city empties itself and no one goes out. Somebody was even telling me that God wouldn't dare to go out after 4 in Mogadishu. So I'm going to have to spend the night here tonight. Every day, the 100 or so employees of the radio station must spend the night here. Over the years, they have tried to make this compound feel a little bit more like home. Ah, yes, yes, almost. Is that boyfriend calling or what?
No, it's someone else.
For the women reporters, friendship and some cosmetics help make the station a bit more comfortable.
How are you? I'm cool, thanks. Okay, how are you?
So this is where you live?
Yeah, you see? This is it. This is the makeup corner over here.
Yeah. This is the beauty products?
Yeah, you know, all that stuff.
But having a social life takes creativity and some real patience. I mean, both of you are young girls. How do you do to date guys, for example? Do you date guys or how does it work? How do you get a boyfriend?
Oh.
I mean...
What did he say? Tell me what he said.
I know, but it's like, how does it work? I mean, because when you're a young person in Mogadishu, how do you date? I mean, if you can't go out, if you can't wear clothes, if you can't talk to a boy, how do you do it?
You see, we use phone.
You use your phone.
Use phone, yeah.
You see, no, there is...
So you see there's a message on my phone.
One message. So this is your boyfriend? The only good thing is that this is safe sex.
Yeah.
Because nothing can happen, if you just use the phone.
When was the last time you saw your boyfriend? I haven't seen him in a long time. I haven't seen my boyfriend in 2 years. 2 years? 2 years. Let me show you something.
Unfortunately, these women get more texts from Al-Shabaab than from their boyfriends.
Yeah, it's a message from Al-Shabaab.
Basically, they said they were going to kill you,
Yeah. They said that they're going to kill me if I don't stop.
But you feel like it's a prison here or no?
It's better to be here than to be out there. Because out there, I'll be killed. Al-Shabaab can't come in here, so we are safe. I'd love to be able to leave this place, but if I do, I'll be killed sooner or later.
Life in prison. That's basically the sentence that people who live in Mogadishu have been condemned to. A situation that has taken its toll on everyone. A toll that can be seen firsthand in one of the capital's psychiatric clinics. This is Dr. Habib. He's actually just a nurse, but many of the real MDs fled years ago and left him and his patients to fend for themselves. Shooting, huh?
Yes.
This happens often?
Yes. PHIM.
سلام. مرحبا تشرفنا. كيف حالك? Why are you here, Omar?
I'm sick. Tired.
What happened?
Problem.
With what?
Somalia.
With Somalia, huh?
Somalia, anytime, everywhere is fighting. Somalia no government.
Yeah.
Anytime we fighting, it's civil war.
Yeah, civil war.
Civil war, yeah.
And so we've known war all your life?
Yeah. No, I have not life. Because Somalia is not life.
Not life, yeah.
Somalia not life.
What happened to him, doctor? Is it because of the post-traumatic stress?
Yes, this is a post-traumatic stress. He is experiencing and see a lot of deaths, injury. This man.
Dr. Habib takes care of some 70 people in this clinic. Most of them suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a very complex mental illness that is difficult to treat in the best of conditions. Dependent on private donations, the budget is tight. It barely covers the basics. So what is this place, doctor?
Yes, this is
The kitchen? Yes.
And every patient in the morning has a three pieces.
3 pieces, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Of anjera.
I see.
Okay. Now come here.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Some bread and some broth, yeah?
Yes.
Like this you feed them?
Yes, it's a good.
Yeah? I'm not gonna eat. It's good food.
No
Because
problem.
I have a little stomach, European stomach. La shukran, as they say. Dr. Habib's soft approach to caring for the mentally ill is light years away from Somalia's traditional treatment methods. In Somalia, when people are crazy, they just change them.
Jane, yes.
They chain to a tree.
Jane. Hands, legs,
To a
and
tree.
to the tree, yes.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, hello.
MashaAllah. You must be make.
Peace.
Yes, please.
Look, very big. More difficult word than for you.
Yes.
Over the years, Dr. Habib has opened 7 clinics in and around the capital. He's treated over 3,000 patients. Every day he dispenses low doses of sedatives, just enough to keep them calm despite the constant fighting outside the clinic's walls.
Okay, good.
Despite his brave face and easy smile, Dr. Abeb is overwhelmed by the situation.
After 20 years, Somali people need mental health support.
Support.
Yes. We are experiencing a lot of post-traumatic stress, a lot of deaths, a lot of injury, a lot of lack of economic. Really, I am alone. I cannot. I am alone. I am one person. I am one person, really. Also, I manage 7 mental health facility. I cannot able to ongoing this difficult
Yeah,
time.
difficulty time. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
We have not a lot of fund.
Living amidst this chaos could make anyone crazy. The city is literally falling apart. Putting the pieces of Mogadishu back together seems like an impossible task. Like with everything else here, the government has lost control of its 3,000 kilometers of coastline, and so piracy has become another big problem. I've come down to the beach here in Mogadishu, to the port, and to meet a man that I think must have one of the toughest jobs in the world. He has to rebuild the Somali Navy. Last year alone, pirates staged more than 400 attacks off Somalia's shores. A strong fleet has never been needed more.
These all boats belong to the Somali Navy.
All these boats belong to the Somali Navy, yeah? So Colonel Hassan has come out of retirement to help his country. 30 years ago, Somalia had one of the biggest navies in all of Africa. 10 battalions, complete with missile carriers, controlled the coast. How many ships were there before?
About 10.
10 ships, yeah.
Yeah.
That covered?
No boats.
No boats, ships, yeah. Ships. And now you have these boats, yeah? It's like a elephant cemetery, you know? The Navy has not been operational since the fall of the government in 1991. And this yard where ships, well, rowboats, go to die, is all that's left.
Not ours, all.
These are not yours.
Yeah, some fishing boats.
But so how are you going to rebuild this Navy? How are you going to do it? Because it's an incredible responsibility. I mean,
yeah, I know.
This is a...
I know. Yeah.
Today you're starting from scratch.
Nothing.
From nothing, yeah.
From zero. But if some people, they help us, for example, the Americans, they help the state, then the state help to reconstitution of the Somali Navy.
The Somali Navy, yeah.
Then we can do something with the Hijiks, with the pirates.
With the pirates, yeah. The Navy is not the only thing that this old sailor prefers to remember in its former glory. So, what was the name of this hotel?
Oruba.
Oruba Hotel.
Wonderful hotel.
Yeah.
Oruba. Wonderful. Yeah. Nightclub, women's, all the things.
Nightclub and women?
Beer.
Beer?
Whiskey.
Here in Mogadishu.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to imagine because now all the women have veils.
The Muslim now were.
Yeah.
At that time, all the things here. Good. He was young and coming here to dance.
To dance, yeah? What, on disco?
Yeah.
Disco music?
Disco music.
Yeah? It's
wonderful country.
Yeah, wonderful country. Yeah.
Wonderful, beautiful guys.
And now look, we can't leave without 50 armed men here. Yeah. Why did bad things happen to Somalia?
There are some people that don't have taste, you understand?
They don't have taste?
Taste.
Like they don't appreciate the nice things in life, that's why they do war?
Yeah.
So what, the people from Al-Shabaab, they have no taste?
No.
That's basically...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It seems that just getting his fleet to float is about all the colonel can handle. And so with no navy and no real government in power, pirates have had no problem taking control of these waters. The attacks have put a chokehold on the Gulf of Aden, one of the busiest shipping routes in the world. But the front line in this battle is not in Mogadishu. In fact, it's not really in Somalia. It's in Puntland, a breakaway region loosely founded as a sanctuary for people fleeing the violence in the south. It's also become the headquarters for the Somali pirates that are terrorizing the seas with increasing brutality. We land at the Puntland airport. Well, I should say more of an airstrip, but it is miles away from the coast. After a 10-hour drive, we finally make a stop for lunch. So, we're finally taking a break from this long and desert road here in Puntland. As you can see, there's not much around here except a few sheep and camels that generally end up in your plate. Well, what you have to understand, obviously, is that this place is very poor and that piracy has become really the main economic purpose of this place. Until we can find a way to, bring an economy to this place, well, it seems that piracy will keep on going for quite some time. Somali piracy has become a massive industry, raking in more than $200 million in ransom payments for every kind of ship, from Saudi supertankers to American sailboats. Today, some 800 hostages and 50 ships are still being held captive. The world's superpowers have joined forces to patrol the shipping routes, but they've had little success as the pirates have just moved their operations further out to sea. The solution might have to come from here. So I've just arrived in Bosaso here in Puntland. It's one of the biggest ports of this region. It's absolutely gorgeous. But what's really interesting here is that this place is one of the capitals of the fight against piracy. Thank you for showing. Thank you, Governor. Thank you so much for showing me. Ali Yusuf is the governor of the Bosaso region, and piracy is the top priority for his team. So, it's hard to imagine that the pirates capture these huge boats with, small things like that, huh? It's difficult to...
Well, this is how they do it. They put 5 or 6 men on one of these small boats, loaded with weapons, and a ladder. And they go after a supertanker, for example.
I see.
And they climb on board.
And so what kind of weapons do they have? Do they have weapons?
It's a Milan.
This is French, Milan French.
Yeah, it's French. This is RPG-7 bazooka.
Bazooka. So if you fire with this on a supertanker, does it blow up or what?
They don't want to blow up the boat or kill anyone. Their objective is to get money. They use this to scare the crew. They shoot at the sky.
How much money do they make, these pirates? When you capture a big ship like that, a big tanker?
We could want a difference, $10 million, $5 million, but little money came to them.
Oh yeah, to the pirates, little
Pirates,
money.
yeah.
So who gets the big money, the $10 million? Who does it go to?
I believe there's some guys in different countries.
So businessmen?
Yeah, businessmen.
They finance?
Yeah, it's not possible to take 5 Somalian young $10 million.
Yeah, no.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
They can pay the all Somalia.
Yeah, they can.
They get the $10 million.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
That's possible. It's good business, no?
Bad business.
Yeah, but good business for them.
For them, yeah.
Closing down this business out at sea doesn't seem to be working. So Puntland's government has changed tactics, and they're now conducting raids back on land. All the pirates that they catch are kept here. This is actually the only prison in Puntland. And some 200 convicted pirates, many with life sentences, are being held here.
There's a lot of pirates here because piracy is the most common crime in Puntland these days.
So basically, you're the police, the pirate police.
We chase them because piracy is our main war.
The chief warden calls up one of the pirate leaders and his gang. Fishermen by trade, these guys tell me that they were forced into a life of piracy.
Big fishing companies plundered our seas, they polluted our waters, they made the fish disappear, and so we couldn't make a living. That's why we became pirates. They didn't give us any choice. When we saw we would die of hunger, we realized that we must find other ways to make money and survive.
Do you agree with what he says?
Well, what he says is partly true, but that was true a long time ago. Since then, pirates have killed, captured, and maimed for money. So the situation is different now.
What's the biggest ship that you caught? What was the biggest ship you caught?
Well, a Saudi tanker. It was about 400 meters long.
You were on a 400 meter Saudi tanker? The tanker is like big like a building. How do you get up on the tanker?
Hunger makes you climb.
Yeah, when hungry you do anything. Superman.
Yeah, like Superman. And you know what? We could even catch you if you stay here too long.
I've been kidnapped with you. Okay, I surrender.
Another day, another autonomous region. Welcome to Somaliland, capital Hargeisa.
So, notice anything strange? I'm actually walking down a street with normal people, with normal businesses. I don't have any bodyguards, and no one's shooting. It's quite magical in Somalia. But actually, well, I'm not in Somalia, I'm in Somaliland.
Like Puntland, where we just came from, Somaliland is a self-declared autonomous region. But there's one big difference.
This place here, well, they want this to be their own state, an independent Somaliland.
In practice, it is already its own country. It has its own president, its own army, and even its own currency.
How much is this?
Yes, that's about $100.
So one like this equals one like that?
Like this means?
No, you have to add this for $100.
This and this. I see. How do you put it in your pocket, this, or what?
You can't put that in your wallet when you change $100.
You need a special wallet.
You need to put it in a small plastic bag like this to carry it around.
Since breaking away from Somalia in 1991, Somaliland has become a functional, relatively peaceful democracy, a success story in nation building. The only problem? No one else officially recognizes its independence, something Somalilanders are working hard to change.
Okay, so I'm here, as you have noticed, in a new country, as I was telling you about, and this is the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Tourism of Somaliland. And I'm here to meet a very special woman, whoops, a very special woman who is trying to develop tourism in this country. It's a real challenge, but she's up for it. How are you? Yes, Sada? Sada, pleased to meet you. How are you?
Good to see you, Diego. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Somaliland, and the Office of Tourism.
Sada Mire is the only working archaeologist in the country. Her family fled the violence in Somalia for London, where she got her PhD, and she recently returned to help rebuild this budding nation. Her team is now making maps of all the potential tourist attractions.
So it must be like impressive to start a tourism agency from scratch, you know, to say, okay, today we're gonna build tourism for our country.
Well, this is archaeology and tourism together. So by finding sites of archaeological interest, we found that there was a need for tourism as well, because now people were coming to see the archaeological sites, and we built it. You know, we are just building from scratch.
From scratch, yeah. So I think we're going to go and see what Somaliland has to offer in terms
of course.
On the way to the sites, Sada explains why people here are so eager to distance themselves from their neighbors to the south.
Somaliland wants to become its own country because people here want peace, and that is something that they don't feel Somalia at the moment
wants or can have.
Yes.
I mean, what surprises me here is that there's, for example, construction. I mean, I haven't seen construction in Somalia anywhere, you know?
Hargeisa is expanding quite a lot, and people are building all over Hargeisa.
I've only seen destruction. This is the only place where I see something being built. Is this a sign of the change coming?
Absolutely. Every day people are happy, waking up, not worrying about
not hearing the bombs and so on.
Absolutely. And that gives us a situation where we can thrive, where we can go and look for work, where we can send our kids to schools.
And where you can have tourists.
And where you can have tourists and do archaeological research. Yes.
Yeah. Just a couple hours away from Hargeisa is a hidden trove of archaeological treasures. And it seems that we are the only ones who know about it. So what is this place? I mean, it's like magical.
Absolutely magical. This is Nat Geo, and we are in Duboto district. Particularly what you have is very distinctive culture here.
Because of the war and famine that has plagued the region, the Nat Geo's caves and the prehistoric paintings inside them were only discovered in 2002. After all this adventure, it's beautiful. Over 5,000 years old, these are some of the oldest and best preserved cave paintings in all of Africa. And so what are these depictions? Cows and cattle or different animals? Can you show me?
At this site, it's mostly cows.
Cows, yeah.
And you can see clearly the others are marked if you look over there. Yes. And that is something very important, apparently, for this culture, because they have painted every time. Sometimes they're missing heads and horns, but still they've
always
got the
because that's a sign of life, or
sign of life, fertility, the need for milk, and also prosperity. There are many things being expressed here. A lot of symbolism at this site and relationship with cattle.
This cave and 9 others in the area are likely to be given UN World Heritage status, helping to put Somaliland on the map for something other than conflict, a welcome change. What do you hope for your country in the years to come? What's the hope?
The hope is to protect it, to study it, and to make the world aware of it, and tourism to come to the country, and people to actually get economic development through tourism.
Through tourism. I hope it's going to be like responsible tourism, that we won't have huge concrete hotels here.
We hope not. We hope not. We'll try and avoid that.
You'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Definitely.
Okay guys, well this is the end of the road throughout our trip in Somalia and now Somaliland, and Sada's going to show me some more of these caves. There's about 10 of them, so I have my afternooners booked here. I hope anyway you enjoyed this crazy ride across this incredibly beautiful country, and I hope to see you somewhere else on the planet soon. Take care. Cheers.